Remember when you were a kid and you would go to a family member's house and in their living room they had the good chair, and the good chair represented the best of their household? Well, now I'm offering the good chair in my house, and I'm going to offer it to your favorite content creators so we can slow down from a minute of content creation in the world that is ever speeding forward. And we're going to find out what it is they do and why they do it, what makes them love the content they create, and what their goals are and motivations. Welcome to the Good Chair.
What's up, everybody? Bill Tendo back here with another edition of the Good Chair. And today we have Rad Bash Gaming. And I'm going to kick this off. We're going to get to know Rad today. Although when you jump in my streams and stuff like that, I always refer to you as Bash. Is that how you want to be known? Do you want to be known as Rad, or do you actually want to tell me your name?
So I go by Rad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Rad is what I go by, but there's people who call me Bash, there's people who call me Rad, some people call me Rad Bash. I'm pretty open to any of that.
Yeah, well, honestly, you did that to yourself.
I know.
You've done it to yourself.
So, I accept that.
So, what kind of content do you create?
So right now, a lot of my content's focused on like collecting stuff. I talk hidden gems so that people can go out and buy games they may not know. I show my pickups, a lot of mail call videos. So like I order from Temu a lot. I know that scares people, but I like to show that you can get some cool stuff from there. But I'm trying to shift more into horror games and stuff is kind of where I'm looking to go with the channel.
Right.
Still focus on collecting and such, but maybe show like 5 horror games you didn't know, because that was what the whole channel was started about, was supposed to be horror.
Okay. Did that have an influence on the skull mask?
It did, yeah. The idea behind it was it's Halloween all year round here, right? So that's why I went with the mask. And so now it'll kind of make more sense as I transition into more horror stuff.
Yeah, it'll be more suitable.
Yes.
I like what did it say on your profile when I first started talking to you? It's like the weirdo in the skull mask or something like that.
The dork in the skull mask.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. I get it, because I'm a little self-depreciating as well. One of my several of my profiles have avid endoorsman in it, because I'm not going hiking. I want to stay in the house. I'll have shirts like that on my website eventually. But, I get this self-depreciating humor. It's funny.
Yeah, I play into it because when I first started, people were like, oh, no one's going to take you serious with the mask, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, dude, I'm a dude wearing a mask. Obviously, I don't care what anybody thinks.
Dude,
I'm a dork.
Are you joking right now?
No.
You had the opportunity to say the line and you didn't say it.
What, the Bane line?
Yes. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
I said it the other day. If you go check the comments on my new, because I addressed the mask in the video, I say nobody cared about me before I put on the mask, and it's true. I've had 2 channels. Nobody cared about the original, so I took it down, and I did this one, and people were like, "Oh, yeah, it's so cool." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
All right, I'll wear the mask. So, do you only wear the mask when you make content?
Yeah, that's the only time. Any other time, I'd take it off.
Okay, fair enough. Probably scare the kids. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a hideous thing.
Oh, so you can scare them either way, like me, with or without.
I could take it off. They'll scream. I could put it on. They'll scream. Right. It worked out either way.
Yeah. So when did you start creating content?
Oh man. Okay. So the first channel I started back in 2016, and it just did not do well. And then I started this one. I think I'm coming up on a year now. I think a year and some change. So yeah, I want to say it's only been a year something for this new one.
Nice. So what made you want to start making content?
So initially my best friend, I call him my brother on my channel, because you got those friends, that's your brother,
Absolutely.
He initially brought it to me back when we were in high school, and he's like, hey, I want to be a content creator. You're funny. Will you do it with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. Whatever you want, I'm there. And so we had set out to do it. It didn't quite work. We were in high school. We had, girls and, other things to do.
Right.
And so unfortunately he passed away a few years back, and I knew how much it meant to him. And I really needed something to help me not be so I was having like panic attacks. I wasn't going out. I was bad. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this and it's gonna help me, distract myself. And it ended up being a great distraction. I've made phenomenal friends through it, and I feel like I have continued what he set out to do. And it helps me feel closer to him in a sense.
So you feel like you're doing this for both of you.
Yeah, correct.
That's a good story, man. That's
I
not a
appreciate
super villain origin story at all.
No villain here, despite
No,
what it may look at.
right,
No,
right.
no
No,
villain.
that sounded like a hero origin story, you know?
And that's what it's always been about to me is, and that's I tell his story, I talk about him, I talk about the things we did because if it wasn't for him, I really would not be here.
Yeah.
Like,
Nope.
it was him.
I have someone that passed away in my life, and it's without that person I wouldn't be who I am. I
Right.
wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. What do you remember what the first piece of content you made was?
Oh, yeah. So on the original channel, it was a let's play of a cheap free horror game.
Uh,
And it was awful. The first video I made on this channel was a get to know Rad Bash, and it was like choppy camera, broken mic, and I'm like like muffled. Yeah, it was bad. I took that down. I was like, oh, we got to get rid of all that.
yeah, yeah. Plus, it only had 6 views anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I don't even think it was
yeah.
6. I think it was like 3. It was like 3 views.
Dude, I go back and look at old videos, and we're all like that, right? When
Oh yeah,
you go back and you look at your uh original videos, and of course you're gonna hate them because you've improved so much over
yeah.
time. But then you look and you're like, some of these videos only have 1 or 2 views. Like, who am I talking to?
Who was this person listening? Like, yeah, it was probably me. I counted as the view.
Right. No, at this point, I need to find that guy, the only
That
one
one.
that's watched that video. I
Ask
have
him.
questions for him. So, obviously, your friend is going to be your biggest influence, and I actually didn't expect that story because that's a question I was going to ask you. So it's left me uh, a little bit dumbfounded. So, well, not dumbfounded, but it knocked me off my game a little
Right.
bit.
It messed you up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm still new at this, so bear with me.
I understand.
So you've been creating content since 2016.
Correct.
We all have that one thing we work on, or that one piece we've done that we really, really love. What is that for you?
So, mine's not particularly one piece. It's more of a something I do, and that's my collab videos. I
So it
feel
so it's it's an ongoing series.
correct. Yeah. I'm very big in, collabing with anybody and everybody, bring everybody on my channel. It doesn't matter the size, big or small, give everybody a spotlight, build the community type thing.
Right.
So that's something I'm very proud of is, I'll see a guy who has 20 subs. I'm like, hey, get in this video with me. Let's see if we can get you 20 more, 100 more, things like that. That's something I'm very proud of that I do.
Right.
So that would be my, best thing in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I understand. We have our passion projects,
Yeah.
the things that we prefer to do. So along those lines, obviously you enjoy doing collab videos. Is there any content that you've made that you're like, okay, I'm never gonna do this again because you didn't like it for whatever reason?
Oh man. You know, it would have been my Rad Rambles series that I started up, and that was just kind of me talking my life experiences. I felt it was really like boring, I guess. Like
Uh-huh.
it, because I didn't really get heavy into gaming until I was 16. Like I played games here and there, like Dark Cloud, obviously. But right. But when I met my best friend, and he's who got me into gaming, collecting all the, like, so when I'm telling these stories, I'm like, half this doesn't even involve gaming. Like these people, they're not going to care. Like they don't want to hear how I went to prom and did, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, that's
Right.
so I cut more of the personal aspect out and went specifically for the games I like and things like that. So my Rad Rambles series would be my thing. I wasn't really proud of it. It was boring. It even bored me, and that says something.
Yeah. Yeah. So we all have misses, right? Or
Yeah.
something that we work. So let me rephrase that in another way.
Okay.
All right. So what was something that you worked on, a project or a series that you really thought that people would enjoy and you felt really good about doing, and then it just kind of didn't take off? Because we all have non-starters. We all have projects that we're really excited about, and you're like, I really think people are going to love this, and then nobody watches it.
That'd be my gameplay series. My gameplay series, when I first started it, I because I'm like, I'm funny, my friends are funny, like it's gonna be good, but the audiences are so different. You have the people who watch gameplay, and then you have the people who like want to hear you talk about the games. I target more of that audience, so when I'm doing these, they just didn't do well. And it sucked, and I'm now starting a gameplay channel so that I can do those, because that's kind of just like a side fun thing I want to do. But yeah, I would say it was the gameplay videos I was doing on the channel. They didn't do as well as I hoped.
Yeah. It's always a little bit of a letdown, because you're really hoping,
Oh yeah.
especially when you first start it, you're super excited about it, and you're like,
Yep.
I really think people are gonna like this, and then it just doesn't go the way you would like it to. It's a little I guess it's deflating.
Yeah, we love what we put out. So when other people don't, like, we're obviously going to think our stuff's really good, but then when the people are like, "Oh, this is terrible," you're like, "Oh man, that's your art, that's your project, that's something
Look,
that means a
look,
lot to you."
I'm gonna do this because I plug it every chance I get, but I have a series like that now that I've been doing for over a year. Nobody watches it. I mean, I'm lucky to knock 100 views on these videos. It's called Forgotten Sci-Fi, where I talk about science fiction books, movies, and TV shows that don't get enough credit or people don't talk about anymore. Like the movie
Right.
Cube, which was sci-fi horror. I love doing it. I
The
won't
Cube
stop.
series, that's good. I like
So,
those.
but like nobody watches that, but I love doing it,
Right.
And somebody every once in a while, just out of the blue, I'll get a comment from a video I made 6 months ago, and somebody's like, I really love this movie, or that was a great book,
Right.
this TV show should be rebooted. I'd give anything. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, now it's worth it,
Right. It got to that, the person you were trying to get it to, you know what I mean? So it's even if you only get that one, like,
Yeah,
it's
you
still
get that. I'll take that one.
yeah, that's me. I'll take the one. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always happy with the one,
Yeah.
when you feel like you connected with somebody.
Yep.
So along those lines, is there anyone that you've met through content creation that has become more than like a friend, not more than a friend, but more than just a
like a
creator
colleague,
consumer relationships, and has transcended that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody on the Super Retro Force. I mean, I talk to those guys daily. Feral Inferno has become one of my closest friends and kind of my guide through this whole thing. Inferno Fox Gaming. Yeah, I've made a lot of friends through this, and we talk about content, we talk about non-content. We have group chats just set up to talk. So yeah, no, and that's what I love about it. It's not like work. It's, I get to meet cool people as I go through this whole thing.
Right. So you just mentioned Super Retro Force. So explain to people what Super Retro Force is.
So Super Retro Force is a team of content creators that I started to kind of. I've always had the mindset of, you can grow alone, but who wants to do that? Grow together. So we kind of, as a group, came together to kind of make videos for our channel, and then collab with each other as much as possible, promote each other as much as possible, just work together and have fun. And I mean, so far it's, we're still very new into it, but it's been really fun, and it's something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. How many people you have in the Super Retro Force at this point?
We have 12 right now.
12. I knew it was a decent amount because I've seen like your tag list on Instagram.
Yep.
I think it was. And I was like, wow, when you said the Super Retro Force, I was thinking like a half dozen creators,
Yep. Yep.
And I'm like, no, man, he's got the full dozen.
No, it's the full dozen. I mean, it's bigger channels, smaller channels. Like it's a good amount of us just kind of like, all over.
Right. So I know you briefly touched this,
Okay.
but what are your goals for your content for the future, and what would you ideally like to see happen? Because we all have those thoughts in the back of our mind. What we would like to see. Look, I would personally love if one day my YouTube did just well enough to pay for itself,
Right. That's
because
fair.
whether it's I'm paying for Canva to make my thumbnails, or my lights, my microphone, my headphone, everything costs something, right? I pay for StreamYard to stream and record on. So
Right.
like, so for me, my goal is, ideally, if it made enough money that creating content was free, that's me ideally.
Yeah, so I would like that too, obviously. It's not like something I set out to do is I'm going to do this to make money. If it
Right.
would at that point, like you said, cover what I like need to put into it, so Canva and the things like that, 100%, I completely agree with that. I'm not against that. My thing is mostly just, and I've said this since I started, I want to build a community. I want to, I get, some people tell me, oh, you want the fame and the things like that. I like being known. I like talking to people and things like that. I wouldn't say I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be known by everybody. That's not what I want. I want to walk into a room and make somebody, have a good conversation. That's my biggest thing.
Right.
So I was, would it be cool to be invited to cons and things like that and just meet people? Absolutely. That would be awesome. That's the community. That's what I'm there for, just to meet people. So I would like to see the channel go to a point that, it's people can feel like they can reach out to me and talk to me about like, you and I, we talk Dark Cloud, like out of random. We just started talking Dark Cloud. That's what I want.
I think I saw it in your bio on Twitter, and
Dark
I'm like,
Cloud fanatic. Yeah.
I'm messaging this guy. We're gonna be friends,
and we are. And see that, and that's like every day. You taught me things about Dark Cloud I didn't even know, and I've played that game for years. But that's the point. That's what I want. I want people to be like, dude, you like Dark Cloud? Oh, you like this? You like that? I love the games you picked in this. Like that's cool to me. That's what I want.
I'm the same way. I have made more friends through, things that we have in common. Whereas a lot of stuff nowadays seems to be like, let's be friends because we both hate, Superman 64. I just don't. I've made more friends because, hey, we both like Banjo Kazooie. Let's talk about Banjo Kazooie.
Yep.
Let's talk about how Banjo Tooie was pretty good, but not quite
not as good as one.
Right.
Not as good as one. Yep.
Yeah, let's have discussions about the things we like,
Yeah, versus the things we don't like. Because I agree.
Yeah, I've made a lot more friends that way. So it just is what it is,
right.
It's a lot more fun that way. I think the first day we started talking, I threw that shit at you. You want to go do karate in the garage?
We just become best friends. Yeah. I immediately got it. I was like, yeah.
My wife, like, I use talk to text because I get hundreds of messages a day.
Oh yeah.
And while I'm working, so I can't stop and type out every message. So
Right.
you're always going to get odd punctuation from me. You're going to get a misspelled, like it might say Ryan instead of Brian or something like that.
Right.
Because I'm using talk to text. And I was walking up the stairs and I walked into the bedroom and I'm talking into my phone. And my wife heard me say, "Do you want to go do karate in the garage?" And she's like, "Oh, you making fucking friends over here?"
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she loves to mess with me, but she knew exactly what was going on. Like, I'm talking to a guy that loves Dark Cloud. And she's like, "Oh, Dark Cloud."
No, that's how mine is. Every time I bring it up, she's like, "You're talking about Dark Cloud again?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah, Dark Cloud."
Yeah. Let me wait. Just sit down and let me explain to you the lore. Okay. I don't think
tell
you
you the
get
game.
it.
Yeah.
So, yes, we became friends because we are both really big fans of Dark Cloud. My favorite series of all time is obviously Legend of Zelda, and
Okay.
you could see how those two kind of interconnect.
Very similar, yep.
Yeah, there's heavy similarities there. But my favorite single game of all time is Dark Cloud. I just played it so much. It's such a banger.
So good. So underrated. More people need to play it. Play Dark Cloud.
Yeah, play Dark Cloud. If you learned anything from this video, it's play Dark Cloud.
Play Dark Cloud. Yep, that's the thing.
Yeah, and I'm a video game seller, and I've never sold a copy of Dark Cloud.
Hey, you were telling me about that.
I have never sold a copy of Dark Cloud. I buy them like every once in a while. I'll jump on Macari and I'll find copies for like $10 to $15, and I'll buy a couple of them, and then I'll get in touch with friends and I'm like, "Hey, I'm sending you something," and I will just send Dark Cloud to people because I want them to play it.
And that's awesome. I love that.
I'll sell every game in the world, but Dark Cloud's not for sale. It's a gift. It's a gift to humanity.
Yes, yep, 100%. Completely agree.
All right, Bash, is there anything else you want to talk about? Where can people find you at?
So you can find me at Radbash Gaming on YouTube. Obviously, my gameplay channel is Radlix Plays, also linked on my channel. You can check me out on the Super Retro Force. I'm one of the many creators there. Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. I think that's everywhere you can find me.
So, one question left. What's your Waffle House order?
My Waffle House order. Oh, smothered hash browns, obviously. Get the cheese and okay, all that onion, yep. And then a chicken fried steak with some white gravy.
Nice.
That's it, right there.
Great order. All right, Bash, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and having a
Thanks
talk.
for having me.
All
Good
right.
time.